This
Okay.
conference will now be recorded.
So before going into that, a small introduction about myself, okay, and the course that we are going to cover, followed with what we are going to discuss here is, so the today's agenda, we are going to start with the introductory part, okay. So here, so what is cloud computing, an overview of cloud computing, and overview of AWS data center architecture, and how to create an instance. Okay, this is what we have left out two classes. I have started the class on last Wednesday. So Wednesday, Thursday, two classes has been over, and I think so. Attended the classes of Friday. So that is AWS storage class has been started. Within today and tomorrow, I will let you know the remaining two topics, remaining two sessions. What I had covered in the two sessions, I will try to complete in that. Okay. So here a small introduction about myself. So I'm G.S.RAMAN. I'm a ME Computer Science Engineering and submitted my PhD in Security, Cloud Security, Distributed Computer. So here I'm having around 20 plus years of experience in academics in IT industry. Initially, I started my career as a professor in Computer Science Engineering. I worked there for 2009-10 onwards. From 2009-10, so I started my career in IT as a corporate trainer. So for the past 12, 13 plus years, I do training for corporates. So for the past 4.5 years, I got associated with one company by name SMI, Sri Muhammadiyah Info Solutions Private Limited, as a associate project manager for big data and cloud. Okay, so here my apart from that, I love training. I work as a freelance trainer. Okay, so serving for some other companies. So here, in terms of training and consultancy, I provide training and consultancy under the following verticals: cloud computing, and all the three major verticals: AWS Cloud, Azure Cloud, and Google Cloud. And in big data technologies like Hadoop and Spark. And for the past 3 plus years, I give more focus and attention towards DevOps because of widespread opportunity. There is a huge demand for DevOps along with any cloud. Okay, so I focus more on DevOps, especially on Docker containers and Kubernetes. Okay, so these are all my profile associated. With respect to this profile, I am possessing the following certification. So I am the following international certification holder. I started my career as a corporate trainer in the year 2008-9 for Oracle. At that time, I acquired the Oracle certification professional, Oracle certification 9910G. And then being Oracle is running on Solaris server and IBM AX server, I did my certification on Sun certification, networking system administration. And for storage, I am IMC certified information storage and associate. And started my career in cloud in the year 2012 end and 13 beginning. There I was exposed to VMware vCloud and I got certification on VMware as well as VMware Data Center Associate Virtualization. And then in the year 2016, I completed my AWS Solution Architect and here Cloudera certified. So now for the next month, I am planning for Kubernetes certification and Terraform certification. Terraform Solution Architect and Kubernetes Certified Administrator. So these are all two certifications that I am aiming for. Okay. So here, my previous association with for corporate training is IBM, iGrandi, Singtel of Singapore Corporation, so Kinetics, Wipro, to say some few. Okay. So for the past 12 plus years, I do training for these corporates. And then in terms of AWS certifications has been concerned, AWS provides certification under the three levels. One is the entry level certification, cloud practitioner, which covers around 10 plus 12, 10 to 12 plus services, which is aiming at for college going students. Okay, very fundamental. What is what? That fundamental services like EC2, storage S3, EBS, load balancer, auto scaling, cloud watch, monitoring. Okay, so simple notification services like basic stuff. And then in the second level, they provide certification across three verticals. One for the solution architect, another one for administration, that is operation, AWS SOPs, and third one for development, AWS developer. These are all the three verticals that they are naming for. And the advanced level certification is professional. So here, the AWS Solution Architect is the certification which deals end to end, starting from scratch up to the implementation point of view. Whenever there is a huge demand for migrating their infrastructure from traditional into cloud. For that, where to start with, what are all the activity need to be done, what services need to be deployed, everything will be taken care by the solution architect professional only. That's so out of 100 job openings, nearly 60-70% of openings in AWS is with solution architect associate. Under the guidance of solution architect, under the instruction of solution architect, the administrator will take care of maintenance. And in case if we need to do any customization on the services according to your requirement, it is the role of developer comes into. Okay, so the both developer and administration will be under the control of the solution architect. Okay, end to end. So the next level of certification, once you completed this solution architect in any one of the verticals, you can go for professional certification. Okay, the professional certification of AWS solution architect is AWS solution architect professional, and the professional certification for operation, that is SysOps. We call this as a SysOps for administration and developer, AWS developer certificate, both togetherly aiming for a single certificate called AWS DevOps engineer. Okay, so on top of it, they will learn some advanced technology along with how code pipelining, code commit, like DevOps tools, AWS DevOps tools that they will have. So these are all the certifications, 7 certifications associated with foundation and mid-level associate and high-level professional. Apart from that, they provide some specialized certification. Okay, like they provide certification like networking, advanced networking, AWS for big data, and specifically AWS for security perspective, and machine learning and IoT skills, Alexa. So IoT, machine learning, big data, security, and advanced networking. So some of our curriculum deals with some portion of advanced networking, we will be dealing with VPC peering, transit gateway, okay, VPN connection, which comes under advanced networking, and some things with respect to security. So we will be dealing with key management services, KMS. Under KMS, I will let you know security perspective. Therefore, the entire associate and some part of a professional will be covered under the curriculum. Okay, so this is all about AWS certification. Here, the curriculum that we are aiming at is AWS Solution Architect curriculum. Okay, so if you do practice what I am conveying, if you follow my instructions, I assure 100% that you will be certified. Okay, very demanding thing in today's IT industry, AWS certification. Apart from that, if your budget accommodate, so a DevOps certification along with AWS will double your salary and double the probability of getting a placement in a very better company, very good company. Okay, so DevOps, more specifically Docker Kubernetes. So everywhere, every developers that every development that they are looking for microservices based development, under which DevOps plays the key role. Okay, automation, everything is automation. Start from development, testing, so continuous implementation, maintaining the artifact, delivering to the client. Okay, that pipeline has been automated by a set of tools. That tools will be covered under the curriculum. Okay, so this is all about what we are going to do. Then what's the scope behind that and what's my profile. Okay, so just a minute, you guys please let me know. So what is your current role and what is your expectation with respect to this certification? Just a minute or two. Let me start with Kajal.
What was that again? What was the question?
Yeah, so current, what's your profile currently, what you are currently doing on, what's your expectation with respect to this particular course? Whether you are aware of this AWS?
So yeah, we are applying for like DevOps engineer, AWS.
Currently, are you working in any company or yet?
No. We are just applying for this one.
Yeah, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Luna, all the three. Jerusha?
No, I'm working as a Python developer.
Good.
Yeah, I have overall like 13 years of experience in IT. So
Okay.
I want to do certification in AWS. So AWS Solution Architect, because I see a lot of requirement for combination Python and AWS Solution Architect and
Definitely.
AWS DevOps. Yeah. Yeah.
So another thing is that DevOps is very
Yes.
demanding. Okay,
Correct.
so
Yeah.
you couldn't cover entire CI/CD. Just Docker and Kubernetes will make you to reach great heights. Okay,
Yeah.
that's the demand for DevOps.
Okay. Sure. Thank you.
Yes, yes, Luna.
Yes, actually, I'm also same as Kazal. I'm applying for the job, so I'm here to learn and maybe I'll give a shot for the certification before I go to job market,
Yeah.
associate level.
So all the three currently based on US, is it?
What was that?
So
No, I'm
you
not
are,
working.
yeah, you're not working. So currently your base is now in India or in US currently.
I'm in US currently.
Yes, all the three. There is a
Yeah. Even I myself, I'm in US.
okay. Ilavagan.
Hi team. Uh, I am Ilavagan, having 10 years of experience in IT sector. At present, I was working in HCL Technologies. My platform also Solaris Linux, but nowadays all the platform moved to Solaris to Linux, and then AWS. So that reason I am willing to learn the AWS with the Linux platform.
Okay, perfect. So I started my career as Solaris. I completed my Solaris in
Yeah,
the year
but
2000.
nowadays we are getting per day 3 to 4 tickets only. We are
Yeah,
using more than 400 servers.
yeah,
But we didn't get more tickets. But now all are migrate to Linux.
yeah,
So
yeah.
at presently, it is one of the banking project. More than
Okay.
12,000 servers available for Linux.
So, and to now, so there is a huge demand for cloud. Okay, everywhere there is they are planning to migrate the infrastructure from traditional physical into cloud, but they are lagging on resources. That's the reason why it is a little bit
Yeah.
slow. But that's a huge opportunity to make use of this in a better manner.
Uh,
I assure 100%
uh,
guarantee. Yes, yes, please.
Inside the AWS, the Solaris OS is available or not in AWS?
In AWS, there is no Solaris OS. So because Solaris is hardware
Yeah,
specific, is it? Solaris and
yeah,
IBM
yeah.
AX are hardware specific. Here we have Mac,
Okay,
we have Linux. All the Linux variants, Windows variant, Mac variant is available.
okay,
I will check it and let you know. So I yet to go with, since there is no necessity arises as of now. So I yet to check it. Also, I will cross verify and let you know if there exists any choice. Okay.
okay,
We ourselves
okay,
during this today itself we can check it whether Solaris is existing or not. No issue.
okay,
Okay, guys. So here the thing is that so I do training for yeah, US training center, that is a hire, train and deploy model. They are working on hiring the candidates, US candidates, train them and deploy them in corporates. Okay. So called LearnTech for the past 3+ years as a freelance trainer. Here I started my batch on last Wednesday. So to accommodate you in those batches, I so far covered 2 sessions. To cover those things what I have covered, we plan for session on today and tomorrow. So our session will be in Indian time: Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I am talking about IST. So morning 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. This is Indian time. Whereas in US EST, it is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I think so. It is 6:60 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. I think so. Okay, I have shared you the just a minute. I will cross check and let you know. So it will be 1.5 hour session, and I will share you the recordings. And while working with, if you have any doubt, it is 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, US and Canada. Okay, 8:30 p.m. It is not 6:30 p.m. It is 8:30 p.m. Yes, 8:30 p.m. Okay, so let me start with today's agenda. So the way of training will be in such a manner that, so if we start with the session, the first part will be 20% the conceptual. So the fundamental concepts, understanding the fundamental concept 20%, and remaining 80% it will be purely practical. Okay, it will be purely practical oriented. So I will taught you the concepts, and along with that I will do the practical. So you want to observe it, and you want my humble suggestion here is, whenever I convey certain things, you please take class notes. You please follow okay methodology of taking class notes. So it will be around 1 or 2 pages every session, so that when you go through well, the thing, it will be very easy for you, rather than going through this 2 hours of video session. Going through 1 or 2 pages of hints that you have taken in class notes will help you a great thing. Okay, while doing practice, it will help you also during the interview perspective. It will help you to a lot extent. Okay, so it is, you please, it is a best practice to go for taking class notes. Just hints, not, I know, I don't want you to take the entire thing, just a hint of what is what. Okay, I will let you know some interview questions, some scenarios associated with interview questions, some scenarios and questions and hints associated with the exam point of discussion. Those sort of things you can make a note under the topic of our discussion. Okay, you please follow this. If not up to now, it is a best practice to do this. And for doing practical, so you want to create your AWS account. So for that, what you need here is, you no need to pay anything. Okay, you want a credit card, that's all. Using credit card, I will let you know how to create an account. So once you create an account, so they in Indian rupees they will charge 2 rupees, and in US dollar it will be some cents they will charge, and they will return back within a day or two. We no need to pay anything. Okay, we no need to pay anything. Almost 95% of our curriculum we can make it as free. Only certain services, that is 5% you want to pay, and that too not more than in Indian rupees. It will be at the maximum. It will be around 200 rupees. Okay, so it will be around $3. That's all for the entire course. Certain for certain thing. Okay. Well, we are going up with higher end like Elastic MapReduce. This is a Hadoop cluster. So I will talk you some advanced concepts. Okay. At that time, it won't come under free category. You want to come under the pay category, and that too, the entire course will need $3 alone. So that is the cost associated with this. So let me first start with our today's agenda. So the overview of cloud computing. Okay. So as of you, any idea on what is cloud computing? Yes, guys. So what's your knowledge about how you define a cloud? Anyone?
Yeah, accessing the resources via internet.
Perfect. Accessing the resources via internet. Perfect answer.
Yeah.
So cloud computing means, this is the generic definition: on-demand delivery of IT resources via internet with pay-as-you-go pricing. Okay. So on-demand delivery of IT resources. So what are all those IT resources? Where the resources will be? So how you can access the resources? Whether you need any specialized components, any hardware to connect with those resources and work with those resources, that we will discuss. So before going into that, what's the advantage of going for cloud computing here is to have a cost-effective solution. So cost effectiveness. Okay, so the resource cost, the operation cost, the establishment cost has been reduced to a great extent when you compare to that of the traditional way of setting up your data center on your own. Okay, the cost effective is the major reason, and then it reduces this environmental hazards to great extent. The environmental hazard reduction to the great extent. This is the second advantage. Okay, that we will going to talk about that. So before going into that, in order to make a clarity in terms of cost effectiveness, let me take one analogy. So electricity generation. Okay, so for electricity utilization for our house. Each and every house need electricity. Okay, so for our requirement of air conditioners, for our requirement to use televisions, okay, and other stuff, whether we have our own electricity generation stations, it may be a nuclear power, it may be hydel power, thermal power. So we are not having our own stations. We didn't invest to establish the stations, okay, electricity power generators. So here those electricity infrastructure, generation infrastructure has been established by government or from third party corporates, okay, third party vendors. So what we did, we connect with the services and we make use of the services. Whenever I need to switch on my AC, I make use of the services. There is electricity which is generated there in form of a service. Okay. So I can switch on my AC. If I don't want, I can switch off my AC. To which extent that I consume the current, accordingly I need to pay for it. I am not worrying about to invest to establish this infrastructure. In case if there is issues in the infrastructure, so the maintenance and monitoring is not my responsibility. So simply when I need, I connect with the infrastructure and make use of electricity as a metered service. Metered service instance, to which extent that I consume. For the month of June, I consumed 100 units of electricity, means I need to pay only for that. For the month of August, I consumed 500 units of electricity, means I need to pay for that. For the month of September, I went for a vacation. I consumed 0 unit instance. I no need to pay for that. Okay, I no need to invest to establish the infrastructure. So that is the initial cost of investment. Okay, initial cost of investment is almost 0, and there is no maintenance and monitoring activity. Okay, so maintenance and monitoring, I am not responsible to do. I simply make use of it in form of a metered service. Okay, that is the advantage of going for this electricity in form of meter. The second analogy, telecommunication. So currently I am holding a Airtel. So for telecommunication, we need these huge infrastructure, switching stations and telecommunication towers, which need a huge cost of investment. So for using this service, I didn't invest anything. Okay, these things has been invested and established by in India like BSNL, Reliance, okay. So Tata, these are all the corporates which owns this infrastructure, and I got a subscription, and whenever I need, I can make use of this telecommunication in form of metered services. And I want to dial my friend, I simply dial. If I talk for 1 minute, I need to pay for that. If I talk for 10 minutes, I need to pay for that. So without investing for this infrastructure, so what I did, I simply make use of these services provided by the infrastructure in a metered manner. So similar to that of your electricity, similar to that of your telecommunication, if I can do the needed things with respect to all my computing needs, what I am in need of? I am in need of servers. I am in need of storage. I am in need of software. It may be an application software, or it may be a okay application software like okay MS Office. So any application software like ERP software. Okay, so anything. It can be a system software. System software here refers to operating systems. I need operating systems, or I need databases. All these comes under the software. Okay, so I need servers, I need softwares, so I need some networking, internet networking devices like switches, routers, gateways, etc., etc. For all these requirements, so currently what I am doing, so currently I am procuring, I am purchasing it on my own. So instead of purchasing it on my own, what I can do, similar to that of electricity and similar to that of telecommunication, I can get this infrastructure. I can get this infrastructure as a metered services. Where this infrastructure will be, the location where they have, we call it as a data center. In the data center, the data center is established and owned by companies, and we as a end user, Raman, what I can do, I can connect with the data center. So through internet, I need an internet connection. From my side, I need a device which supports a web browser. That is enough. I no need of any sophisticated components. Any device which can be a desktop computer or it can be a laptop, even your mobile. Using your mobile, you can make a connection. Okay, you can connect with the data center and you can work with the services according to your requirement, and to which extent that you are consuming, accordingly you need to pay for that. So that is, we call it as a cloud computing. Okay, so if we look into the definition here, now we can find. So it is on-demand delivery of IT resources. On-demand delivery of what resources? These are all the resources. On-demand delivery of servers, on-demand delivery of storages, softwares, everything. So where these resources will be? Resources will be in the data center. How I can connect with the resources and access the resources? So from my side, I need an internet connection. Using that internet connection, I can connect with the resources. So what I need, whether I need any sophisticated components on my side, I no need of any sophisticated components. What I need here is, I need a system which support a web browser. That's sufficient. Using that, I can make a connection to the data center and I can build the resources according to my requirement. Once my activity has been completed, I release back the resources and how much I need to pay for. So pay as you go pricing. That is, to which extent that you consume the resources, accordingly you need to pay for that. This is the definition for cloud computing. Hope this particular definition is understandable now. If you have any clarification that is needed on top of it, please let me know. Is it clear?
Yeah, it's clear.
Yeah. So to make you more clear, to make you more clear regarding this cost effectiveness, let I go for another example. So assume that I am a freelancer. So I got a project for doing data analytics. I got a data analytics project which involves building a machine learning model and working with a huge data set of 10 terabytes. Okay, so I want to develop my application. So once I successfully develop my application, I will be compensated with 5 lakhs. Okay, this is my compensated price. So for that, what I need an infra. I need a server with a 12 microprocessor with 128 GB of RAM memory and with 10 terabyte of hard disk. This is my requirement. So I need a server with either a Windows 2020 or I need a Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Okay, 2020 Red Hat Enterprise server. So here I need to store my data on my database. For that I need Oracle 19C, Oracle 19 as my database. These are all my software requirement. This is my hardware requirement. Currently, what I am in possession, I have a laptop. i5 laptop with 8 GB of RAM memory and with 1 terabyte of storage. This is my current hardware with the Windows 10 as my operating system. Okay, this is what I am currently in possession. So here the project duration is assumed to be 3 months. Within that 3 months, I need to complete this particular assignment. Once successfully completed, so my compensation, I will be benefited with 5 lakhs. So, but my position currently is with the following. My requirement is this thing. What I can do? So if I go with the traditional way, I need to purchase the server. I need to procure the server. This server cost of 12 microprocessor 12 core 180p will comes around 4 lakhs. Okay. So for this, I need to purchase. Actually, how much of duration I need? I need only for 3 months. Whether I need for 3 months or 3 days is not a matter, or 300 days is not a matter. I need to purchase minimum of 1 year license. Okay, the Windows 2020 server or Enterprise Linux along with the support will comes around 25,000. Okay, in license cost. Oracle 19 single user, it comes around 15,000. Totally, it will be around 75,000, I think so, in Indian rupees. My total investment is 4.75 lakhs. For what purpose? For setting up the infra. If I successfully completed after a hard fought 3 months of work, so I will be compensated 5 lakhs and I will be left out with 35,000 for my hard work for the 3 months of my coding development. Anyone accept this with the opposite scenario? So nobody accept. Working hard for 3 months. For that, the requirement here is I need an infra to develop that model. But my current position doesn't support that requirement. Therefore, I need to, if I go for a traditional manner, I need to invest for my procurement. Okay, here instead of that, if I can get the resources from any cloud, public cloud, okay, any public cloud, it can be a AWS cloud, or it can be a Microsoft Azure cloud, or it can be a Google cloud, or it can be a Oracle cloud, or it can be any cloud as I am talking about. I can get the resources. And how much of duration I need the resources? Roughly 3 months. Let me take at the average per day. I am going to make up the resources for 5 hours a day. Totally 3 months. Therefore, 3 months in sense it is 90 days, which is equivalent to 450 hours. That I round off to 500 hours. This hardware along with the software, I am in need of for 500 hours. Okay. So for 500 hours, what I need, if I go for traditional way of investment, I need to invest 4.5 lakh, 4.75 lakh. Instead of that in cloud, the supposed resources in AWS cloud will cost along with the hardware and needed software, it is rupees 50 per hour. Totally 50 into 500, it equals to rupees 25,000. So here it will be a rough estimate. So I can able to satisfy my hardware requirement with 25,000, and after successful completion 5 lakhs and minus 25,000 for my hardware, I left out with 4.7 lakh. Happily, I take the project assignment. So this is the way by which what I need from my laptop using internet, I can connect with the data center. Here I can build the resources according to my need. I can install the software and I can work with that. I can store my data here. Once my activity has been over, I can release back the resources. I can destroy the resources. To which extent that I consume. In this scenario, I need for 500 hours. For that alone, I need to pay for that. I no need to pay for, I no need to pay any upfront cost for my license or for my servers. Okay. So just if I completed my task within 400 hours, no issue. So my total investment will be 20,000. So according to my efficiency, according to my capability, I can able to reduce the cost to further extent. This is the way by which if you procure the infrastructure, rather than going up to a traditional way of investing on our own, if we can get these services from any AWS public cloud providers, then it will help us in reducing the cost to great extent. Okay, so is it making sense? What's the advantage here? Hello guys, participants, are you with
Yes.
us? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the way by which you can make use of cloud and leverage this advantage in terms of cost effectiveness. Okay, please make a note of it. Just to take a hint of it so that at any point of time, if you want to convey what is cloud to others, you can take it as an easy reference to make them understand, easy understand. Once noted down, please let me know. Please make a note. I will be back with you after having a cup of water. Okay, shall I proceed further?
Yes, Raman.
So how a data center? So how the location where we have the resources, we call this as a data center. A data center is equipped with higher-end storages, higher-end servers, and here the concept that has been implemented in data center is virtualization technologies. That we talk about what is virtualization. So virtualization technology is the backend of cloud. So to get a more clarity on how a data center looks like, I will play a video of a Google data center so that you can have idea of Google data center. How those infrastructure will be, how they are maintaining. So it will be easy for you once we go through the underlying concept of virtualization.
The brains of the internet, the engine of the internet. It is a giant building with a lot of power, a lot of cooling, and a lot of computers. It's row upon row upon row machines, all working together to provide the service.
They are all higher-end servers. In that servers, using virtualization, so we can able to accommodate thousands of computers on a single server itself.
Building and operating data centers. I'm Joe Cava, Vice President of Data Centers at Google. I'm responsible for managing the teams globally that design, build, and operate Google's data centers. We're also responsible for the environmental health and safety, sustainability, and carbon offsets for our data centers. This data center here in South Carolina is one node in a larger network of data centers all over the world. Of all the employees at Google, a very, very small percentage of those employees are authorized to even enter a data center campus. The men and women that run these data centers and keep them up 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, they are incredibly passionate about what they're doing. In layman's terms, what do I do? I typically refer to myself as the herder of cats. I'm an engineer, hardware site operations. We keep the lights on. We enjoy doing it. And they work very hard. So we like to provide them a fun environment where they can also play hard as well. We just went past the 3 million man-hour mark for zero lost time incident. 3 million man-hours is a really long time. And with the number of people that we have on site, that is an amazing accomplishment. I think the Google data centers really can offer a level of security that almost no other company can match. We have a information security team that is truly second to none. You have the expression, they wrote the book on that. Well, there are many of our information security team members that have really written the books on best practices in information security. Protecting the security and the privacy of our users' information is our foremost design criteria. We use various layers of higher level security the closer into the center of the campus you get. So just to enter this campus, my badge had to be on a pre-authorized access list. Then to come into the building, that was another level of security. To get into the secure corridor, which leads to the data center, that's a higher level of security. And the data center and the networking rooms are the highest level of security. And the technologies we use are different. Like for instance, in our highest level areas, we even use underfloor intrusion detection via laser beams. So I'm going to demonstrate going into the secure corridor now. One, I have to be on the authorized list with my badge. And then two, I use a biometric iris scanner to verify that it truly is me. Okay, here we are on the data center floor. The first thing that I notice is that it's a little warm in here. It's about 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Google runs our data centers warmer than most because it helps with the efficiency. You'll notice that we have overhead power distribution. Coming from the outside yard, we bring in the high voltage power, distribute across the bus bars to all of the customized bus taps that are basically plugs where we plug in all the extension cords. All of our racks don't really look like a traditional server rack. These are custom designed and built for Google so that we can optimize the servers for hyper efficiency and high performance computing. It's true that sometimes drives fail and we have to replace them to upgrade them because maybe they're just no longer efficient to run. We have a very thorough end-to-end chain of custody process for managing those drives from the time that they're checked out from the server till they're brought to an ultra-secure cage where they're erased and crushed if necessary. So any drive that can't be verified as 100% clean, we crush it first, and then we take it to an industrial wood chipper where it's shredded into these little pieces like this. The time that I've been at Google for almost 6.5 years.
They won't let us data exposed to external world. They will destroy the data.
Most data centers have air conditioning units along the perimeter walls that force cold air under the floor that then raises up in front of the servers and cools the servers. In our solution, we take the server rack and we butt it right up against our air conditioning unit. We just use cool water flowing through those copper coils that you see there. So the hot air from the servers is contained in that hot aisle. It raises up, passes across those coils where the heat from the air transfers to the water in those coils. And then that warm water is then brought outside the data center to our cooling plant where it is cooled down through our cooling towers and returned back to the data center. And that process just repeats over and over again. To me, the thing that amazes me about Google and the data centers is the pace of innovation and always challenging the way we're doing things. So when people say that innovation in a certain area is done, that we've kind of reached the pinnacle of what can be achieved.
So this is all about this data center. Now I hope you have some idea on data center. So they have 2 servers. From the servers, what we need to build the needed environment. For that, you need to be exposed to the concept behind virtualization. Okay. Then what is virtualization? So virtualization means virtualization is an abstraction layer that decouples the physical hardware from operating system to deliver greater IT resource utilization and flexibility. It allows multiple virtual machines. The different operating systems run isolation side by side on the same physical machine. Each virtual machine has its own set of virtual hardware. Virtual machine is nothing but is defined as a representation of a physical computer through software, and that virtual machine has its own set of virtual hardware like CPU, RAM memory, and hard disk upon which you can install and configure an operating system and application as if that you are conferring on a real physical machine. This is the generic definition for a virtual machine and virtualization. Okay, so I will let you know point by point with a little bit more clarity. So let me take the point. If we go for a traditional environment, okay. So here, if you go for traditional environment, here you will be having your hardware. You will be having your hardware servers. Okay, your hardware such as a CPU, a RAM memory, hard disk. Okay, so motherboards, etc. On top of it, you will be installing your operating system. So on top of it, you will be having your applications. It can be a web server, or it can be a mail server, or it can be an application server, or it can be a database server, anything. Okay, my hardware application. So this is your traditional infra. Okay, here Each and every entity is closely binded with each other. The hardware, the operating system, and applications have been closely binded with each other. A failure in any one of the components. So here your application is working fine. Your OS is fine. A failure in CPU. Can you able to access the application? No. Your application is fine. Your hardware is fine. There is a failure in operating system. You can't work with the data here. A failure in any one of the component resulted in the total failure. That is single point of, we call it as a single point of failure. A failure in any one of the component will affect the entire thing. That's the way by which we traditionally go for. Whereas in case of this virtualization, there is an abstraction layer that decouples the physical hardware from operating system to deliver greater IT resource utilization and flexibility. Here, in terms of virtualization, we have our hardware separately, and we have our OS as a separate model. We have our hardware as a separate model, and our application as a separate model. It is not binded with each other. Okay, they are loosely coupled entities. The failure in any one of the component won't affect the entire thing. If there is a failure in hardware, no need to worry about that. There will be another replica of hardware. I can immediately migrate my OS and application to the another hardware within a fraction of a second. Like if there is a corruption in OS, no need to worry about that. I can run my application in another machine with the same operating system. So this activity is highly abstracted to the user. Even the user doesn't aware of from where he is accessing. This is the way by which this virtualization has been architected. There is no binding. Yeah, failure, it is not subjected to a single point of failure. It works independently. Okay, similar to plug and play model. That is point number one. Okay, point number one. Here, it's an abstraction that decouples the hardware from OS operating systems. It allows multiple virtual machines to operate on. Assume that I have a server here. I am having my laptop. Let I take my laptop. My laptop is a i7 with 8 GB of RAM with 1 terabyte of storage, and I have Windows 10 as my operating system. On top of it, what I can do, I can install some virtualization softwares. So some of the famous virtualization softwares are, so here, these are all the softwares. VMware, you might have heard about this, VMware. Citrix, Hyper-V by Microsoft, Hyper-V by Microsoft, VirtualBox by Oracle. So there are a lot of tons and tons of software. These are all some famous. This belongs to Oracle. Hyper-V belongs to Microsoft. In VMware, there are several variants. For desktop, we have VMware Workstation. For servers, we have EXSI server. These are all virtualization software. Okay. So let's make a note of it. Using this virtualization software, what we can do, we can create multiple virtual machines. Each machine with virtual machine 1, virtual machine 2, virtual machine 3. Okay, just a minute. So here you can create a multiple virtual machines. So this machine, virtual machine 1, okay, so can have its own hardware. Assume that here I can assign 2 microprocessor, 2 GB of RAM memory, and 100 GB of hard disk to this virtual machine. I can install CentOS. I can configure this as a database server. So for virtual machine 2, I can assign 3 microprocessor, 4 GB of RAM, and 50 GB of hard disk. Here I can install Ubuntu as my operating system, and I can configure this as a big data Hadoop server. For virtual machine 3, I assign 1 microprocessor, 1 GB of RAM, and I can configure this as a Windows 8 machine, Windows client. Like so, here the virtual machine is nothing but logical entity. It is not a physical server. Through software, we create a virtual machine. For example, if you are going for a aircraft training, okay, for a pilot training, so in the day one, you won't be given an aircraft and ask you to write. Instead of that, what it does, that entire cockpit, the cockpit is simulated. You will be put into a room, okay, which will simulate the cockpit. In that, you will be provided training for a month. Once you are familiar with all the functionalities associated with this cockpit, all the functionalities associated with the lifting and downing of aircraft and what to do with, after 1 month of training in the simulator, you will be given a real flight to work with. The simulator, what it does, through software, through coding, it simulates the entire environment of a real aircraft. Similar to that, so we can write a set of coding to create a physical computer. As if what are all the things that you can do with the physical computer can be done on the virtual machine. It is not visual. It is not visual, but it will exist. Okay, that is we call it as a virtual machine. It is not a physical server. It is a server developed using softwares. Okay, so you can create these virtual machines on top of a physical server. This server is physical. The single physical server can accommodate n number of virtual machines. There is no constraint. Those virtual machines, the software, that is the hardware assigned to the virtual machine, is acquired from the underlying physical server. Each and every machine can start and stop separately, independent of another virtual machine. Each machine is assigned an IP address. This machine is assigned 192.100.10.2. This address 192.100.10.3, 192.100.10.4. Like each and every machine will be assigned an IP address. If a user RAM want to connect with this database server, what he need a credential in the database server. Through that physical, using virtualization software, he can connect with this. Okay, for that what he need a tool like PuTTY. You might have heard about this PuTTY. PuTTY is a software which is used to connect to the remote computer. RAM from his laptop using PuTTY, what he can do, this is PuTTY. So it asks for the host name or IP address. You can give the IP address of the server here. The IP address here in this example, the IP address is assumed to be 192.100.10.2, and it can be connected using, once you click on open, it will be connected, and it will be asking for a username and password. If you give appropriate credentials, so RAM can connect to the particular database server, okay, which he launched on the physical server. So as if that he is sitting in front of it, the entire virtual machine's screen has been captured here. RAM can work with this laptop as if that he is sitting in front of it. This is the concept behind virtualization. So now if you look onto the definition, it allows multiple virtual machines with a different operating system. Here I have for one machine CentOS, I configure another one Ubuntu, I configure the third one for Windows. Like I can have different operating systems, different hardwares to run in isolation side by side. The thing is that on the same physical machine, that is the key thing. On the same physical machine, I can able to configure multiple machines. These virtual machines will share the resources of the underlying physical server with an 100% efficiency. The resources won't be kept idle. It will be 100% utilized. By the way, we can make use of the resources to a great extent. Here the another advantage here is, so if I go for investing for this server, okay, for every server, for example, assume I need to invest 5 lakhs for this database server, mail server, web server. I have listed all these servers. Assume that I need to have a web server, mail server, application server, database server, and I need to have a print server. So for 5 servers, assume one server costs 5 lakhs. For 5 servers, I need to invest 25 lakhs for my server. Each server need a floor space. Each server need an administrator. Each server for floor space for room, a 10 cross 10 room with the air conditioner facility. I need to invest further 10 lakhs for a single room along with this facility. Into 5 rooms, I need to invest further 50 lakhs. My server 25 lakhs, and totally I need to 75 lakhs along with the infrastructure if I go for a traditional manner. Instead of that, what I can do, I can purchase a higher end server. The server I can purchase for 15 lakhs. And the infrastructure for that, I need only one room, okay, to keep a track of, for 25 lakhs. So therefore, 50 lakhs has been saved to a great extent if I go for the virtualization concept. So here, similar to that of, here in data center, they will be having servers in the data center. Okay, they will be having huge servers. On top of the servers, each server has a capacity of accommodating 5,000 to 10,000 virtual machines. Therefore, a 10 server within a room can able to provide you up to 1 lakh of computer for the client across the globe. This is the way by which, by adopting the concept of virtualization, the cloud can able to deliver the needed number of resources to the end user in a optimized manner. Here, AWS uses the virtualization tool called Citrix. Citrix is followed by AWS. In Hyper-V, Microsoft Cloud, they use Hyper-V. In Oracle Cloud, they use VirtualBox. In AWS Cloud, they use this Citrix visualization tool. Okay, just make a note of it. These are all for your knowledge. Any doubt with respect to this discussion, feel free to clarify. If you have any doubt, feel free to clarify. I will give you a minute time to make a note of it. After that, in case if you have any doubt, please let me know. Is it clear? Shall we proceed further? Any doubt?
Yes, no doubts.
Yeah. Elaboration?
No doubt.
We can have session for under 15 minutes, no issue. Okay. Are you comfortable, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in terms of cloud, these are all the following. We have public cloud. We have private cloud. A public cloud is established and owned by third-party vendors. We as an end user can connect to the cloud and can make use of the resources. To which extent that we are consuming, for that we need to pay for that. We don't need to worry about that infra maintenance, infra establishments and so on, which is more or less similar to internet. Okay. AWS, Azure, Google, they are all coming under public clouds. Okay. The infrastructure is established, owned, maintained by the cloud service providers. Okay, they take care of all the activity. As an end user, we can connect with the cloud and we can make use of the resources there. On the other hand, a private cloud is one. For example, IBM is having branches across 100 locations throughout the world. So all the peoples of IBM, they want to share the resources, they want to work with the resources. So confined to IBM alone means they establish the private cloud. They establish private cloud means they establish their own data center. In the data center, they have their higher end servers, storages, all these things as accommodated. All the branches of IBM branch from India, IBM branch from UK, IBM branch from Singapore can connect to the data center and they can make use of the resources there. Okay. So here, this private cloud, enterprises create private cloud for their exclusive use. It is not open to outside world. It is similar to intranet. For developing private cloud, we can make use of tools like OpenShift, Nebula, okay, Open Nebula, Ecliptus, and these are all the tools using which you can establish the infrastructure and to provide the infrastructure in form of services to your branches, you can make use of the tools to create the private cloud. So in certain combination, in certain scenarios, you need combination of both public as well as private clouds. Public cloud, the services are delivered to the client by internet. So the private cloud, if the services are managed and provided within an organization, there may be a requirement that you need to club the services of both public as well as private cloud, which we call it as a hybrid cloud. Okay, assume that you are a R&D analyst, you are working with some projects. Okay, you are working with the use case. So assume that use case is in need of a cluster. Okay, this is where you are working with a company by name Wipro. Let me take here in Wipro in their private corporate data center, they provide you storage, provide you a capacity of 5 node cluster. Okay, node 1, node 2, node up to 5 node cluster. You are going to work with some Hadoop project. Assume that you are going to work with some data analytics project using Hadoop cluster. You assign a 5 node cluster. Each node has a capacity of storing 2 terabytes of data. Therefore, into 5, there is a total capacity 10 terabytes can be accommodated. So here the POC project proof of concept is for 1 month. So for that you have been assigned 5 nodes from the private data center. So for the next 10 days, you want to work with some 20 terabytes of data. For that you need additional 5 data nodes. Okay, 5 data nodes. Whereas the capacity of Wipro data center is fully engaged. Okay, you can't given further 5 nodes from their capacity. But it is not wise to go for a higher end server, to procure a higher end server and to launch these 5 data nodes as a virtual machine on the Wipro data center. Okay, for satisfying a 10 days requirement. Therefore, what we can do as a solution, So this is the node 1 to node 5 from Wipro's private network. That is your Wipro's private data center. And you can use this public data center like Amazon. You can get another node 6 up to node 10. Remaining 10 nodes, you can get it from Amazon, and you can logically club all the 10 nodes into a single LAN. Okay. For that, there is a concept called VPC pairing. There is a concept called VPC pairing, using which so you can establish a VPN connection, VPN connection. Here, 5 nodes from your corporate data center and 5 nodes from your public cloud like Amazon. Okay, public cloud like Amazon. Both of the thing has been clubbed. Here we have a 10 node cluster. So here in these circumstances, nodes from a public cloud as well as nodes from the private cloud is coexistent. This is an example of hybrid cloud. Once your activity has been over, you can release the nodes from the public cloud. Therefore, you no need to go for any additional cost of procuring the infrastructure with respect to a short need. Instead of that, you can make use of infrastructure for that 10 days. How much of resources that you have used? You have resources 5 nodes. Okay, each day you have used the resources for 5 hours, and let me take an average. The resource cost, one resource cost is 50 rupees. Therefore, for 5 hours a day, it will be around 250 rupees. For 5 resources, it will be 1250. Instead of procuring a higher-end server, which accounts into terms of lakhs, okay, you can get it in form of a virtual machine from a public cloud. That's the way by which you can incorporate a hybrid cloud. Yes, is it making sense, guys? What is hybrid cloud?
Yeah.
Luna, Jerusa, Kajal?
Yeah, yes, Raman.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the way by which this public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud differs by. Okay. So next part of our discussion, we are going to discuss about the data center. The second point of discussion, data center perspective. AWS has architected the data center to ensure high availability of the servers, high availability of the applications, high availability of the data running in the data center in the following manner. They have regions. An overview of AWS data center perspective. Architectural overview. They divided the data center into regions. Regions are the geographical locations that where they established. There are around 25 regions throughout the world. Within that region, they have availability zones. Okay, which we call it as a sub-regions. There are around 81 availability zones throughout the world, and there is another thing called as edge locations. Or edge caching. There are around 218 plus edge locations. So this is the global infrastructure of AWS under region and availability zone. These are all the locations. Okay, so these are all the data centers under North America. There are around 25 regions, 81 availability zones, and then totally there are around 218 edge locations. Okay, there are totally 25 regions as of now and 81 availability zones and 218 edge locations. Ma'am, no comment class. Okay, So here they are aiming at in launching the more new regions and availability zones. So if we take into the global infra, we can find this infra here. Okay, so this is the infrastructure. So across globe. So for example, in India, they have a data center in Mumbai, and they are aiming at establishing a data center at Hyderabad. Okay, so if you take into consideration, so these are all the in okay, Asia Pacific, Japan. So these are all in Australia, Sydney. And this corresponds to US. Okay, this corresponds to Ohio. This corresponds to Canada, Oregon. Okay, North Virginia, North California. They have the data centers. For example, if you look into the data centers, these are all the geographical 25 regions where they have the data centers. I am connecting to my cloud with my credentials. Now look into that. These are all the data centers. North Virginia, Ohio, California, Oregon. So here in Hong Kong, Asia Pacific, Mumbai, Osaka, Seoul, Singapore, Sydney, in Canada and Europe, Germany, Ireland, London, Milan, Paris. Okay, these are all the data centers. As of we call this as a region. Okay, so totally 25 regions are there. Within each region, okay, these are all the regions. Now within each region, they have availability zones. So the number of availability zones they have. For example, under North Virginia, they have 6 availability zones. Okay, under Ohio, they have 3 availability zones. So under US West Oregon, they have 4 availability zones. So what is availability zone? So let me take an example. They have the data center and primary data center at Mumbai. In Mumbai, the client launched the resources, they store the data, everything is in Mumbai. Assume there is a disaster, which may be a man-made disaster or it can be a natural disaster. Okay, like earthquake, tsunami, or bombing. The Mumbai data center get crashed. Whether the end user can access the data, if it get crashed, the end user couldn't able to access the data if the data is not replicated. To overcome from these sort of disasters, in order to ensure the high availability of your data 24/7, data should be accessible 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 366 days a year without any issues. That's what that AWS want to ensure us. So if they have only data stored in one single location, it is not at all possible. To overcome from that, what they does, the primary data center is in Mumbai. So they established the sub data center with the geographical distance of minimum 100 to 150 kilometers apart. For what reason? In case of any disaster, even it is a natural disaster like earthquake or tsunami, so here it won't be affected. Assume there is a sub-region, one at Mumbai and another sub-region, another one at Nashik. So, okay. So here, if you store data, if you launch the resources here, a backup will be in the another availability zone. This primary region, you call all the 3 as the Mumbai region. And this is the first availability zone 1. This corresponds to availability zone 2. This corresponds to availability zone 3. If you launch a instance, a replica will be launched in any one of the availability zones. For what reason? In case if Mumbai data center get crashed, if Mumbai data user no need to worry about that, he can able to access initially all the data accesses from Mumbai. In case if there is a failure, he will be redirected to the another availability zone where the replica is there. So by the way of having multiple replicas across different availability zone, by the way of dividing your data center into sub data centers and keep a copy of replica across this data center, we ensure high availability of your applications, high availability of your data. Therefore, we call this as an availability zone. Okay, AWS recommends minimum to have 2 availability zone under a region. Under each region, it is required that you should have 2 availability zone minimum. So, but at the average, they have 3 availability zones in all the regions. Certain regions may have 4 availability zones. Certain region may have 5 availability zones. Okay, it depends upon that. All the regions is having 3 availability zones. Okay, this is the concept behind availability zone. And in terms of regions, can we have an access to all the 24 data centers? No. There are data center in China, 2 data centers in China, and 2 data US government cloud. There are 2 data centers for United States of America government sector. So these 2 are exclusive usage. Only people work in Republic of China can make use of this data center. It is not open to external world. Excluding these 4, out of 25, excluding these 4, we can access to the 21 data centers throughout the world. Okay, this is the way by which AWS ensures 24/7 access by the way of replicating your data across multiple sub data centers, which we call it as an availability zone. Yes, guys, is it clear? So now you know what is region and what is availability zones. For what purpose they have availability zones. And I will let you know, once you make a note of it, I will let you know what is edge locations with a little bit clarity. So then let me discuss about this edge location. So once our discussion has been over, let me conclude today's session. So assume you have your, this is your primary data center. Okay, this is assumed to be your US North Virginia data center, where you have your database server. You have your Oracle database server. So you are going to access from India. Okay, from a network from India. There are around n number of people working with that. So similarly, assume that there is another set of client sits in Singapore to access the data here. Okay, this is your internet. This is your internet. Using internet, you can they connect with the data center and do the access. Here, a person, the database, we have a table by name employee. Let me assume first a person issues the query. Select star from employee. The query from India. So we'll go through internet to reach the data center in US, and it got processed there. The response will be given to the user. Okay, it want to travel across internet. The second person issues the second query. Okay, select star from employee where salary greater than 10,000. This query also traveled to internet to reach the destination, and it got processed and response will be given back. So if every user, thousands of users going to access this database, have some queries on same tables or some tables belonging to same database, every time it will go through the internet to reach the destination and do process on top of it and give back the response. If thousands and lakhs of users having data in data center accessing across globe, one access from Japan, in sense the internet will be highly populated unwantedly. And also as a result, being the bandwidth of the internet has been consumed by a great extent. So what happened here is, so internet will be internet will be overloaded, and it will result in a poor performance of internet. To overcome from that, what AWS does is, so they have the storage area network. They establish the SAN network. Storage SAN stands for storage area network. We call this as a CDN network. CDN stands for Content Delivery Network. Content Delivery Network. So throughout the world, they have the storage box. Okay, they have the storage servers. They have the storage server throughout the world. In India, they have the server across 5 locations. One at Delhi, another one at Hyderabad, another one at Bangalore, another one at Mumbai, another one at Chennai. Okay, these are all the locations. They have the edge location in India, 5 locations. Yeah, client I am accessing from, I think that Madurai. I am accessing from a town by name Madurai. Hope you are aware of Madurai, guys. Luna, Jerusha, Kachal, have you heard about Madurai? This is my hometown. Madurai Meenakshi Temple.
I didn't know.
Okay. So you belong to which state here? Andhra. So they're from Madurai. So if assume that this network is with Madurai and belonging to Tamil Nadu, okay, in India. So here, if n number of requests is arising from, then what happened here is, so AWS, it will take this copy of this employee table and place a copy into the nearest edge location. Here, the employee table at the nearest edge location to Madurai is Chennai. Okay, so if you are accessing from Secunderabad, okay, if you are accessing from Pune, then the nearest to Pune is Mumbai. Therefore, the entire copy will be brought to the Mumbai. The employee table will be brought to the Mumbai. So all the subsequent access, it won't be forwarded to the main data center in North Virginia. Instead of that, all the user request for that access to that particular table will be forwarded to the edge locations in Chennai, and it got processed and its result will be given back to the user. And as a result, the traffic of overloading internet has been reduced to a great extent, and the user, being they can able to query the data from the nearest location, the query time, the response time is very, very fast. They can able to get the information in a fast time without any delay. So this is the way by which AWS architected the storage of data across to 218 SAN storage. Okay, if you want to look on a SAN storage, this is the SAN storage, EMC SAN. EMC SAN storage. It is a higher-end server. It is made up of higher-end server. Here you can find these are all SAN storage. So it is a higher-end servers which is meant for storage alone. So in data center they have servers, okay, which is meant for storages. These are all the hard disks. You can store only data. Bunch and tons of data can be stored. Okay. So this is the way. Similar to that, they established throughout the world this storage server across 218 locations. So that the data which is fetched from the main server has been stored there in the edge location, and all the subsequent requests from the edge location will result in a fast retrieval of information. This is the way by which AWS data center is architected under region, availability zone, and under edge locations. By the way, it provides a reliable, fast, efficient access to the client of AWS 24/7. This is the concept behind an architectural perspective of AWS data center. Hope is it clear? Any doubt?
No, not so far.
Okay. So with this, so let me conclude today's session. I need another 1 hour 25 minutes. Can we make use of tomorrow's time or your case? The same time it is as of either 7 a.m. or 7:30 a.m. So up to I need 8:30 to 8:45. 1 hour 15 minutes I need. So that session 2 will be. So tomorrow what I am planning to launch an EC2 instance, and the process, what is EC2 instance? So what is the instance? What are the different types of instance? How to launch an EC2 instance means launching a server in your data center and connecting to your server from your location and working with the server. I need minimum of 1 hour 15 minutes to the maximum of 1 hour 30 minutes. That's all. So that you will be synchronized with the particular project team. Can you able to spend another 1 hour 15 minutes on tomorrow, being it is a Sunday? Anytime as of your convenience, I am ready to take the session.
So
Or
tomorrow,
Monday.
right? Oh,
Yeah,
we can do
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
So here I am talking about Sunday Indian time. For you, it is a Saturday. I'm talking about Sunday morning, the same time. 7, anytime between 7 to 9 IST. For you, it will be Saturday evening, I think so.
Yes, Saturday evening.
If not, I am ready to take it on Monday morning. That means it will be Sunday evening for you. Or you want me to take on a Sunday evening also, I am comfortable with. Sunday evening in sense, it will be Sunday morning for you, I think so.
I guess we can do like tomorrow as same time today, or
Yeah,
whatever
yes.
works for other. I don't know.
Others, Jarusha, Kajal.
Yeah, it works the same time tomorrow.
So 7:30 a.m. IST and here on Sunday. So for you, I think so. It is a Saturday, is it?
Yeah, it's Saturday tomorrow.
Saturday, 9 p.m. EST. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. 1 hour. So that I can complete the session.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So anything. So as of now, do you comfortable with how things are going on, or you need any refinement in the presentation?
As of now, we are clear.
Okay.
Thank,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you, Luna, Kajal. Thank you, Ilavalahan. You meet again. You use the same
Yeah.
link, the same link. So from the Monday session, we will be using the Zoom link. Okay. So
Okay.
here, so this link, I will share you the recording session within 1 hour to you. The
Okay.
recording of the session will be shared to you.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a good
Thank you.
day.